It's been a bad month, actually more like two. Got fired from my job and the rent's overdue. No money in my pocket, no honey by my side. If I don't come up with 500, they're gonna repossess my ride.
Yo.
You ready?
Always.
Time to go to work.
Let's do it. I'm writer-director Kris Hulbert.
And I'm actor Will Robertson.
Welcome to another episode of Gratcast.
Oh, yeah!
You want to know what sucks, Will?
What sucks?
We've got everything going and everything working out great on this episode of Gratcast, yet I completely forgot to start recording it, both on Podbean and on both on the GarageBand and Ustream. So hopefully the people that have been watching, you remember in the episode, because the first 20 minutes or first 8 minutes is.
It was the exclusive live bonus footage.
For those that didn't get to hear the first 8 minutes and are just now getting the recording of it, all we really did was go over the list of topics that we're going to discuss. So you didn't miss much.
Didn't miss much. We talked about droids. We talked about
pissedoffgeek.com. Check out the review.
Great review on pissedoffgeek.com.
So back to the Podbean pod hoster discussion, Will.
Mm-hmm.
Why did nobody come to Podbean with us?
It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why. Why wouldn't you look for more?
I wish there was a way that we could put another one up on the pod hoster and say, hey, we're over there now, so people know where to look for us. But that was the reason we left pod hoster, was because they had limitations on how much storage that they could hold. So basically, if you wanted a couple episodes like we had done, it's perfect. But if you want to continue a long-term show,
if we kept it to 20 minutes, we could possibly still be there today. Wasn't that the average file size or something? Like, was it?
But the early going ones were all about 20 minutes, and those were the ones we're on.
And then we jumped into the epic territory around the time we switched.
We start talking to Lance.
Yeah.
The Sci-fi interview was another major issue that we had with the technology this week. I don't know what the hell happened. We were trying to do a Ustream broadcast of the interview, and
I don't know that we've been able to do any of these events that we've announced smoothly yet, have we?
This one so far is going great, except for the fact we forgot to hit record.
You just need another brain, that's all.
We need a producer. I think Gratcast is officially looking out. We've got all this technology to juggle and everything. We're officially looking for a first producer to help with the show. That's definitely a must.
That would be a big help. But yeah, it took a dive for us in Vegas. And
the most embarrassing was the dive in Vegas. The computer that was all set up to do the live Q&A and all that stuff, I had set it up personally beforehand, was plugged into a power outlet that was plugged into the stage lights that I didn't know. Nobody said that they just turned all that off, so boop, the whole thing got shut down. So the quick transition when you're up there giving the spiel and everything after the movie into the live Q&A, I'm like the Wizard of Oz hiding behind the curtain, panicking, just trying to reset the computer, trying to reboot the websites, everything, and it was just fried. Then when I finally got it back up and Ustream kept telling me, I'm sorry, you're logged in somewhere else, so you cannot get into the account. So then I couldn't even get into the account. I hear you just trying to stall on the other side of the curtain.
I could see your little white ankles under the curtain dancing around.
Yeah, I was getting quite fed up.
That was a good show, though.
Yeah, the Vegas show was a good time. What did you think of the Sci-Fi Theater, Will?
I was completely not ready for the Sci-Fi Center to be what it was. I was expecting like some ultra new, modern, I guess, just really fancy decked out store, but it wasn't. It was just this guy's store. He put a couple stores together in a deserted shopping mall and made the Sci-Fi Center.
Yeah, he just keeps expanding and little by little. That projector was the biggest projector I've ever seen. This thing was enormous.
Yeah, it probably weighed at least 3 times both of us put together.
And it was cool because one of the things that we were talking about when we were doing some of the color correction in the film, and that was giving it kind of a gritty grindhouse effect and putting kind of like the grainy film effect on the screen.
Little did you know you had a projector that would do it for you.
Yeah, I actually like that better that way, because if you want to see it, you put it in a projector that does it that way. And for the whole setting that we were in, this backroom theater and this whole gritty setting, it was like the perfect way it should have been shown. It was a really cool atmosphere.
It was really, despite us being really, really low at that point again.
Yeah.
Despite all that, it was a really good show. We made some new, really good friends, and really genuinely loved the movie again. We keep finding these people.
Speaking of which, the confessionals are all up as of today. On the Las Vegas now has its dagger in the map. It's been stabbed by TPH. So all our confessionals, pictures from the show, and the few bits of press that we had around the area are all up on there. We've got a review coming from somebody who was at the show soon this week too, I think.
Oh, okay.
So
I remember that guy.
We've got another review coming. And why don't you tell us a little bit about our activities before the show that led to our new idea?
Well, let's see. We got to the Sci-Fi Center at approximately 6:20. Place was closed down for a little while, so we went down to the lounge. No, we were going to go to the East Coast Bar first.
Yes, the East Coast.
We were excited.
Yeah, right underneath.
The East Coast Bar was directly underneath the Sci-Fi Center. We parked right in front of it. We're like, we're going there as soon as we go up there and tell them we're here.
Apparently, they moved back east.
Apparently, they're gone. They left everything up, though, so it sure did look like it was
Drink
open.
specials, the whole 9 yards.
Banners. Yeah. So then you looked up something that was close by around the back side of the shopping center.
The lounge was right around the corner.
Went to the lounge. Well,
the lounge has a specific clientele. As we found out, many of the establishments in the area we were in had a very specific Las Vegas style clientele.
That means boys that look like girls.
Chicks with dicks, dude. Chicks with dicks.
Yeah, we sat. There was 2 people in that lounge plus the bartender. We sat down next to those two, and when I sat down, I was sure that was a girl next to me.
I didn't even get a good look at that. All I know is our waitress definitely had some work done. I don't know if she was a waiter, waitress, or bartender,
Or she used to be a boxer, because
yeah, she is. Her and her generous personality have definitely had some work done. That's the polite way to say it.
That's right. Well, Andrea was the only lady in the
room. Then we decided at $4 a pop to hang out with chicks with dicks. We could get a 18-pack and sit in the parking lot
at the liquor store on the other side of the.
So we pre-gamed it outside the comic book store for our own movie.
Yeah, just turned the radio on at Serenity, put the 18-pack on the pavement, and sat there until it was showtime.
Where can people find the pictures of that, Will?
They're on our Flickr page. We got a Flickr album, the Head Shop.
Head
Trip.
Head Trip, yes, that's what it is.
Head Trip album on Flickr. You'll see where all the heads been.
If you go on the perfecthousemovie.net, our movie page, it's now right there on the homepage too. It's got a little picture of our head. You click right on the head, and you too can go on a head trip. Only to Vegas right now, but as we go other places, so will the head.
This guy is going to be a star.
Once we go on our reality show, and we're going all over the place, he's going to make a lot of friends.
What do you mean reality show?
Well, Will, we had a reality pitch meeting this week with 10 Worlds Productions. And,
what the hell?
They're based out of Crossroads of the World, which is apparently where Alfred Hitchcock had his studios, or his production offices. Mm-hmm. And they had a real cool, bamboo and just really Australian outback kind of ambiance around their whole office and stuff. And it was a really interesting place. They watched the sizzle reel. They loved the sizzle reel. Once they talked to us and found more about the background of the movie and everything and how things came about, they really loved us, and they really started embracing it and liking the idea. And that's where they wanted to know more. So we end up having to completely recut the sizzle reel.
So add more of a story.
Yes, it's now got a lot of voiceovers and stuff like that, because they're like, well, what about the movie? Afterwards, they want to know more about the movie and stuff like that. We're like, well, we're kind of pitching a reality show about promoting the movie. It's not really about the movie, but they're like, well, we want to know the movie and all that backstory. So we had to come up with a new sizzle reel and give them that stuff. And the new sizzle reel just got posted today as well. That's on the
It's
Facebook
really
page.
good too. Did Mike Pachotti help you with that again?
Oh yeah. Me and Pachotti, I locked him in and got him right back in the chair.
Was he surly about it?
He wasn't too upset about it until I got strict about the fact that the countdown clock in there needed to say 90 days. The countdown clock needed to start at 90 days. The whole premise is 90 days, 30 cities, 1 million fans. And he's like, well, what's wrong with the easiest clock was 130 days, where we're at right now. I'm like, yeah, but the whole premise of the show is 90 days. Well, they'll understand it and that. I'm like, come on, dude, we're not half-assing stuff all of a sudden. So I had to bust his balls a little bit.
He had to find something to complain about, in other words.
Nah. So he got it turned around, and just in time.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank God there was no Rapture, and he was able to get it back to me.
Few of us good angels were sweating it.
I'm surprised you're not gone, Will. I really thought I was going to lose you. I guess
Still here.
my prior months of corrupting you in anticipation of the Rapture kept you around.
Goddamn swinging dick, son of a bitch.
I'm determined to be the concrete ankle bracelet around you forever.
Nobody goes anywhere unless I'm taking them there.
So what are your thoughts on the Rapture, Will? Were you worried? Were you worried your final days were here?
No, I wasn't worried at all, but I was curious. I was like, okay, well, maybe this is the time. Maybe this is the one. Whatever. But nah, I wasn't worried about it.
You keep throwing darts at the wall, sooner or later you're going to hit something. Tomorrow's going to be the Rapture. No, maybe the next day.
Have you seen the picture of the priest online today of him holding the Bible and making that screw face?
I did see somewhere, though, that the followers were flabbergasted the world didn't actually end.
Probably just like your friend on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah, I wouldn't show my face again if I was that lady.
My Lord is a strong Lord. Strong Lord.
I understand that it was just one church. This guy spent all this money and that, and to say the Bible guaranteed the world was going to end, but did anyone hear the Pope come out and adamantly say, we don't agree with this? Like,
Pope didn't have much to say,
yeah,
did
he never said, I'm sorry, but you're using the Bible's term in a wrong interpretation. Maybe you didn't know, but we work on spooky behind the curtain stuff. We don't go out there and say guarantees, because then everybody would know we're fairy tales.
Here, can you see this picture?
You're going against our shit.
Did you see that picture today? They picked the picture that would make him look most like a tool, for certain. But what I think is funny was the day after, all the news headlines were all like, you know, kind of like they made a joke out of
We
it.
dodged another bullet.
Yeah, like they were like everybody was breathing a collective sigh of relief. Like all the two news headlines were like all about, well, this has happened before on such and such a date, and this is not the first time this, you know, just all of a sudden everybody's a debunker.
You gotta wait till afterwards to debunk. There's that idiot said something like that. Everybody's a Monday morning quarterback, Will. Which reminds me, if you're at home and want to be a Monday morning quarterback, seeing how today is Monday, get on the chat and you can send in questions to the show and ask us anything about any topic we're going on. The chat windows are right here. I'm monitoring it. What's your overall viewpoints on religion, Will, while we're on the Rapture subject?
I don't think it's a bad thing, and I think it's a terrible thing at the same time. I think it's a good idea, but I don't like the way people interpret it and use it to their ends. In other words, I need to put on, like the armchair quarterback. It's the same thing for church.
So you don't like the fact that man manipulates God's word or whatever it is for his own purposes.
Exactly.
Okay. With that in mind, why do you think religion
exists? It's probably just a big tool of control, mass control, is what I think.
I'm surprised I never really made this connection before. It just kind of popped in my head now. I find the justification of God as the same person as Big Brother.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't see Big Brother. You're never going to see him.
Yeah, it's worse than having that camera up in the corner.
Yeah, he's always there. He can see you when you're touching yourself, Will.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's like that's the whole. It's like God's will or word can't be manipulated by man because man created God to manipulate his own word to sound more powerful than it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I really believe religion is the earliest form of government. And if you have everybody thinking the same thing and believing the same 10 or 15 rules that tie society together, these are the good ways, the proper ways to act. Now you have organization where there was once chaos. Once people are organized, they're easier to control and guide where you want to go, I guess.
I guess so. I mean, tithing. If you don't have 10% to give, you know, I have a lot of issues with it. I think at its root, having something that you believe in, whether it be, I'm all for believing in yourself.
That's exactly where I'm. Your conscience should be your inner God. If you're doing right by that, you're on the right path.
Right, and I think that makes you closer to God. Or
have I explained to you my hypothesis on why there can be no heaven?
You wrote something about that. Okay, no, you haven't. Let me hear it.
I feel like if there was such thing as a heaven, that it would implode because there's just certain things that, no matter how far out of the spectrum of the universe, just can't physically coexist. For example, if one person's life involved marrying your high school sweetheart when you were 20 years old, you were together for 5-6 years, you never had a single fight, you were great Christians, you loved each other, the world was your oyster. Boom, that bitch dies. Lights out. Crack away, Will.
You want one?
No, I'm good. But boom, she's out of the picture. No fault of your own. Jesus decided he needed her up there. So now she's in heaven, waiting for what should feel like an eternity, for you to live your life. Go on and do great things. Be the person she always believed you could be, and eventually your soul will rest and come to heaven where you'll be together again.
Do you think that works with or created the you only remember the good things about somebody after they die?
I really, it doesn't, that's neither here nor there to the major crux of the issue.
I'm with you.
Because that's a whole nother debate that I'll get on about how no matter how much of a scumbag somebody was, once they die, all things are forgotten. Even if they die in the middle of committing domestic violence, but they were turning their lives around. Don't get me started on that jackass from the Bengals. You don't know. He's a football player. You don't know.
I don't know him.
We'll talk about that another day. But, okay, so you went on to live your life. You met a new great woman, got remarried, spent 60 years with her, had 2 kids, retired, the whole pink house, the whole 9 yards, and you guys were great Christians. So now you're off in heaven, in your 60-year-long relationship wife's eyes. Heaven is you and her, the kids, everybody else in there. Not this bitch from 60 years ago that died off and married. I don't know who the hell you are. You're not in my heaven. So somebody can't have heaven there because I'm sure the guy's heaven is, oh yeah, my one hot wife who's still in her 20s because she died, the love of my life for 60 years, I got these guys for eternity, that's my heaven. I don't think that either one of those girls is going to see that as their heaven. So people can't be in each other's heavens that somebody else wouldn't want in their heavens and be this all-encompassing everybody heaven. It's just not fucking possible. And that's just
I get you fired up. You're turning a little red.
Dude, a little common sense is all it takes to get to these conclusions. But
that's kind of hard to think that far. You know, it hurts.
Because then all the good stuff goes away. If you find out reasons why it can't be true with, like, facts and shit. There was a small part of me, Will, that was hoping that the rapture did happen.
I bet you a lot of us had a feeling like that. I bet you a lot of people do, and they just don't want to admit it. But
if the world had ended, we wouldn't have to deal with this Alamo situation.
Well, it could be the end of our world, or it could be our Alamo.
These sons of bitches, Will.
How do you want to handle this?
I guess we have to tell the backstory.
We ran out of money on tour.
We hoofed it home from Dallas to LA, which, again, I will attest that we made better time than anyone can ever make. I dare you to drive from Dallas to Los Angeles in 20 and a half hours.
We even had time to stop for ice cream.
We did. When you're making it from Dallas to Los Angeles in record time, things happen along the way. Unfortunately, I'm going to tell most of this story because Will was unconscious.
I was taking my break, my siesta in the back seat, and every time I'm sleeping soundly, this idiot wakes me up with some loud noise. Anyway, I'm sorry, this is your story.
I'm driving down the highway, and there may or may not have been an incident earlier with a semi-truck on the highway. And we're driving this little compact HHR. So the highway up ahead narrows down to one lane. But it wasn't the one lane on the right-hand side. It was the fastest lane, one-hand lane, across from all the lanes. So we narrowed down to one lane, and the semi-truck didn't like the fact that he should go behind me because I'm in a mini car and he's in a fucking semi-truck. So I made sure that he knew he was going behind me. He decided that while we were one lane, he was going to be as close behind me as he possibly could. And up ahead was another semi-truck. So we were in quite a sandwich. And this guy's riding my ass, trying to prove a point that he's a tough guy because he's got 300 tons of steel behind him. And
always a good mentality for a truck driver to possess.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my opportunity to get around the other semi-truck and leave this guy in the dust. And whatever lane that opens up is going to be on the right-hand lane because there's no more lanes to the left. So we get up ahead a little bit. The concrete barrier stops, and this lane starts to open up. So I'm like, okay, and I go to peek over on the lane. Now, I'm going to throw him under the bus. This is one part of this story that didn't get told. Randy was wide awake and open in the passenger seat the entire freaking time. When we peeked out the little bit to the side of the semi-truck, the first words out of his mouth should have been, "Holy shit, there's a water barrel there." No, he doesn't say a goddamn word. So we get all the way over to the point the driver can now see down the right-hand side of the semi-truck. And the first thing I see is, holy shit, there's a fucking water barrel there. So I do my Jason Bourne evasive maneuver, just dodge the water barrel, and it nips the passenger mirror. Nips it in, breaks it off, and smashes it into pieces.
Oh, and it also ruined the back door latch.
Allegedly. So we pull over at the next rest stop. Will's now awakened by the minor disturbance.
Oh, dude, I as soon as the boom, I went like this. And then
Brace yourself!
And then when nothing happened, I came out and I looked around, and we were still moving, and you guys were holy shit, and I was just like, whatever.
Oh, dude, this water barrel was dead in our crosshairs when I peeked out from behind that semi. If it was anybody else, it was straight through the water barrel. Like, this guy in the semi behind us had to been, like, fucking pissing himself watching this go down. So we stop at the next rest stop. I get out. I do the, oh, how fucking bad is this going to be, walk around the car. And I'm like, all right, no scratches, nothing here, nothing there. Mirror's fucked. Need to replace the mirror. So
you looked it up?
Yeah, we went to a rest stop, everything else. My butt cheeks unclenched when I was just, okay, it's a mirror. It sucks, but it's not as bad as it could have been. Mm-hmm. So we get in the car, and we're on our way back, and I look it up, and the part's like $60, $65, brand new mirror, put it on there. You can see that the plug for the electric mirror didn't get ripped out or yanked.
Plug's still there.
Yeah, so all you gotta do is plug the new one in, mount it on there. We get to the rental car place, and what happens when we drop the car off?
Hey guys, thanks. See you later.
Yeah, nobody said shit. I'm not going to tell you the fucking mirror's hanging by a thread.
They didn't have us go around it and check it.
Yeah, you're standing right there. If you don't notice it and I don't notice it, we don't talk about it before we leave. It never happened on my watch. So nobody says anything. We get out of there. We take off. And from there, I don't hear nothing. A couple weeks go by.
Suddenly, in the mail, what, like Thursday
didn't you
Friday?
get the phone? Did you get a phone call first?
No, I called them. I got the letter. And it said windshield glass or something like that was damaged.
The windshield was broke.
Windshield was broke. So I called them up and I gave them the claim number, and they said, "Oh, it says here your driver or your passenger side mirror got knocked off." And I was like, because I was waiting for them to say something about windshield glass.
Yeah.
And they knew specifically it was the mirror, and that's all they said was the mirror. And they said, "Well, we just wanted to know if we needed to charge someone else for this mirror." And I was like,
yeah, go ahead. Charge anybody else you want.
Yeah. And, well, like, somebody else was involved in an accident. But I said no. And they said, okay, well, you should be receiving the letter. And a week or so once I would get this run through. Next day comes the letter. It was like that thick. No shit. It was full of everything that got ruined while we had the car.
I'd read off the letter here for you guys, but our attorney currently has it.
There's a big long letter full of a lot of parts that have no kind of location anywhere near a mirror.
The vehicle was a 2011 HHR with less than 20,000 miles on it.
Piece of shit. Don't buy an HHR.
We yanked the mirror off. Admittedly, full blame, guilty, did it. Walked around the car. Will's name is the one that's on the line here. What other damage did you see to the vehicle when we left Alamo?
Nothing.
Apparently, according to Alamo, they needed to replace the bumper, paint the quarter panel, change the windshield, change the mirror, which was admittedly broke, repaint the back door, change the door handle on the back door that I got my luggage out of with no problems, change the back bumper.
You're saying the door latch worked for you?
Yeah, perfectly. Change the back bumper and repaint the whole right side of the car. Like we slid it along a guardrail or something for a quarter mile.
So you called them up anyway and had a discussion.
Yes, I called up the Alamo Rentacar company, and nobody wanted to discuss the technicalities of their bid that included 10 days for rebuilding the whole right side of a brand new vehicle. For an economy car, $102 a day for 10 days I was being charged for the same car I could rent for $25 a day. This was their loss of use fee. And then from there, I decided to call up the people that actually gave the bill, and they try to play stupid. I don't have an HHR. I've never even seen an HHR. We have the recorded phone calls that when I edit this later for Gratcast and for the podcast, I will be putting in snippets of the recorded phone calls right here.
When you rent a car from one-way rentals, they explain to you that there will be a one-way rental charge. And it's usually quite high.
Ma'am!
Before you rent it.
Ma'am, stop talking before you dig yourself into a deeper grave. The one-day rental for the day I rented it was paid. I'm talking about the 10 days you couldn't use it. You weren't getting one-way fares every single day for 10 days. You're getting your average $30 a day fee. You jacked it up to that because that was the highest number you could put in your estimate. Don't fucking think I'm stupid.
Okay, sir, if you contact me one more time, I'm going to end
Put your supervisor on the phone right now. Give me a meeting that I can put in the lawsuit.
What do you think of those phone calls, Will?
They were borderline insane. They sounded like the rantings of a lunatic. And I'm not sure. Well, I guess we'll find out how effective. I mean, you were basically calling them out on their bullshit. They smoke screened us hardcore.
Oh yeah. The bottom line was between the two places that what I gathered is like they were licking their chops when they saw a broken mirror, because holy shit, we can jack up the insurance bill. It's insurance companies that pay this all the time anyway. Put a bunch of all this different stuff that could get fixed, this, that, the other thing. We'll nitpick here, there, and a dingleberry. And then we'll put this crazy estimate in.
Split the money with the mechanic, and everybody's happy again.
Throw the mechanic $500 for fixing a $100 mirror, and now we got an extra $2,500 off the jackass that hit the water barrel.
I have a list that I found of Alamo complaints. Let me read a short one that I think sums up our experience. This is, mind you, this is from a giant list. Rented a car for 9 days at a price of $197.40, including taxes. Travel plans changed, and I returned the car to the same location 2 days early. Instead of the guaranteed rate, they charged me $302.57, an increase of more than 50% over the guaranteed rate. Even though the car went back to the same location, and I made it available to them for rental to somebody else 2 days earlier than it otherwise would have been, I have received nothing but double talk from Alamo customer service.
They charged him more for bringing it back early.
That's what Jim of Chicago says.
I'd have been like, go fuck yourself. I'm leaving with the car for 2 more days.
Don't you dare bring that back early.
Dude, just scumbags.
The whole thing reads like exactly what we're experiencing with them. The Alamo kind of shady.
Yeah. So is Mitchell from A&A Auto Shop down the street from the Burbank Airport. But before I get fired up more about these phone calls than Mitchell. Let's get on to the next topic.
What do you want to talk about next? Oh, you know what we didn't thank William Powell. Thank you,
Oh,
William Powell, at the Sci-Fi
yes.
Center.
Yes,
in
thank
Las
you
Vegas.
very much, William Powell, who was referred to us by Mike Lopez of the Dead Flesh Fest that will be at June 25th.
Yeah, that's right here, right?
That's right here, right down Hollywood Boulevard.
Okay, yeah. Very cool. I can't wait for that one. Is that a Fangoria tie-in of some kind?
No. That's just the Cinema Slaughter Dead Flesh Fest, which is
Okay.
supposed to be over the top, just borderline
this
film.
This is the
horror
one that we're
movies.
feeling nervous that we're not
Yeah.
brutal enough.
Yeah. Thank you for the pissed off geek making us feel a little better by saying
How brutal it was.
Yeah, it was a brutal that mainstream Hollywood horror doesn't usually have the balls to attempt. That's fucking awesome.
It was a great review. Go read it. What's his name? Robert.
The site is pissedoffgeek.com.
Pissedoffgeek.com.
And
Go ahead.
I was just about to introduce our special guest to tell her incidents of the week about Andrea's scam that I call it a scam, that she's found herself in, or she found the last honest person in the world. Who knows? Andrea Vahl, please come to the Tahunga Studios.
I got your seat warming. Why can't I find this on your page?
I have a seat.
Yes.
Oh.
That one, not that one.
Which one? Not which one?
Not the sign seat. That's the seat for the sign.
That seat's too high.
That's
Hello, everybody.
okay.
Hello, Andrea. Welcome.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Robert R. Best.
Is the one that wrote the review.
Yeah, pissedoffgeek.com.
Awesome guy.
Or robertrbest.com.
So, Andrea,
Yes.
why don't you tell us a little bit about how your job search has been going the past week or so?
Well, rent is coming up. Everybody needs rent. And I, like most everyone else out here, don't want to get a full-time normal job. I don't like that, so I've been...
You've already got one you don't get paid for.
Exactly. So, I've been looking on Craigslist, like just about everybody else out there. And I found something. I submitted for an ad for modeling for a new designer. They have about 12 outfits they need new pictures of. And they chose me, which was great. The photographer he said he was overseas. He said the company was also overseas and they couldn't mail a personal check to the production company that they're getting all the equipment and the location and everything out here.
Mail doesn't go from England to the U.S.?
No, they said that company would not accept a foreign check. Fine.
Okay.
Fine. Okay.
But this ain't
How
money
about-
orders?
How about PayPal? Doesn't PayPal work in the
Pretty
21st
sure it
century?
does.
PayPal? I think that's nationwide.
Pretty sure I can convert my money in PayPal to euros and stuff.
Dineros to dollars?
I think I can.
I'll bet your dineros to dollars that something fishy's up.
I got some naysayers here.
So,
Okay. So, I like to believe that if it's
skepticism aside.
too good to be true, could possibly be true. I like that idea. I like to think there are other very nice people out there. And so I've been talking to the photographer back and forth on email, and they were sending a payment to me to take a partial payment out now for the work that will be coming up to try and guarantee my time.
Okay, so
And
we're
the
gonna
rest
send.
of the money...
We gotta ask questions along the way.
let me tell my story. Then you ask questions.
But our job is to ask the questions the listener's going to ask along the way. So they said through the mail, did they call you at all?
No,
No
they
phone
have my
call?
phone number.
They have your phone number, but
But you guys have
nobody.
been texting, right?
We have
Or
been
Yahoo messaging or
emailing
something.
through Gmail, and then he has a Yahoo account, and he found out that I do too, so he's been
But,
IMing
but
me.
nobody's picked up a phone and called and spoke voice to voice and gotten a feel for each other.
No.
And without doing that, they wanted to send you a bunch of money, take out your cut, and do what with the rest?
The rest of the money to please forward on through Western
Please.
Union
Please.
Oh, they're very insistent.
to the company that is, I thought, out here, but it is in New York.
So go ahead and pay yourself and just go ahead and send that other $1,500 on to the next guy.
Yes, and then when as soon as the money gets transferred over, then we will be able to set the actual date, because you have to know that the money is there for the equipment in order to set the date. We understand that. We made a movie. It makes sense.
Sure, I sent everybody. What I did was, it was kind of like a chain letter. I sent the first person the $30,000 budget, told them, take your pay out of there, send on the chunk to the next guy, and just keep it on going. And surprisingly, that's how we knew we had a good crew, is because at the end, I got the change back. Everybody got paid.
So, yes. So, I had gotten an email on Saturday morning saying the payment was sent out to me. And as soon as I get it, please forward it on to the following name, address, all that stuff through Western Union. Give them back the details, all the tracking number, all that stuff.
And this
Secret question.
person was here also in the States because they couldn't send a check to him from out of the States, right?
That's what they told me, is that they were out of States. And the person that we need to forward the money on to is in the States. So, start to get the naysayer making me worry, telling me I'm involved in a scam. I'm now going to wind up being sold to white slavery in Asia.
My protective side,
outside of here,
as your coworker and as your significant other, was the worrisome that some strange people now had pictures and identified the location of an attractive female and the physical address on where this attractive female lays her head down at night. So, no way in my mind was there ever, oh yeah, they're actually going to send the money and ask you to pass it on to the next guy. That, to me, was the strangest of all outcomes. If you got picked up on your way to the corner store getting blunt wraps and in a minivan and I never saw you again, that would have made more sense to me than what happened today.
So, I get the email saying to forward it on, and the payment was sent out to me. It should be there either Saturday or Monday. Saturday didn't show up in the mail. I let him know it wasn't there. Hopefully it'll be here on Monday. Chris has already got me thinking it's never going to frickin' show. In fact, what's going to happen is they're going to say they sent it and that I stole it, and then I'm going to get in trouble for stealing.
To me, that was, at this point, the best case scenario.
That was a concern. So we didn't mention it to our attorney when we had our meeting because we figured nothing's going to come of it. It's just going to be a ha-ha waste of time. You got your hopes up, and it's like everything else. So unless you think there's going to be money and there never is money, and you just feel all sad and rejected inside and humiliated. So, what happens today?
Let's not bring so much drama into Gratcast.
So this morning he texted me and said the payment should be there, and I say, I told you it wouldn't be here till about 2:30 because that's when our mail comes. So, I go and check the mail, and yeah.
Tell us about it.
So, I have an envelope with 2 money orders. Nothing in it, just made out to me from someone in New York. And I open up, and there's 2 money orders made out from someone else in New York also. And it's for $1,900. And it's USPS money order.
Great. Cash the money order and pocket the money, right?
I don't like to be that person. Because I like to believe that there are good, naive, innocent, sweet people out there who just want good people. And I don't want to be with those people. They're all nice.
Why don't you tell us what happened, though, when you tried to cash the certified fund money orders from New York to L.A. when they were supposed to be from overseas to L.A.?
So we get the money orders. I talk to the attorney, and he gives me a little bit of advice. He says, you know, everything, although it seems weird, it could be kosher. And to ask a couple questions and to verify that the information is correct on who I'm supposed to send it to. That's the main one. His red flag is if they say send it to a different person. Like after they've already given me this information, send it to someone else instead at the last minute. That's a red flag. So I send an email saying I've received it. Here are my couple of questions for you, and just verifying, can you please confirm that this is the correct information? Because once it's gone, I can't freaking take it back. Someone else can get it. Well, he sends an email, you know, answering 1 out of the 3 questions and says, yes, that's the correct person. Fine, fine, fine. I'm supposed to be back from the bank, cash it, go to Western Union all before 3. That was the plan. By 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock exactly, I'm trying to get my ride to get out the door because Chris decided to distract him by playing NHL hockey on PS3 all afternoon instead.
Season has to go on.
Mm-hmm. And
it's getting close to the playoff push.
I receive a text from Yahoo that says that different address to send it to.
Of course.
And okay, Brandon told me to look out for this. Red flags, little bells and whistles going off in my head. So I said, you know, that sounds a little suspicious. Why am I sending it to someone else? Is there a reason? He said the person that we were supposed to send it to will not be around to be able to pick it up right away. this is the new person. And my response is, it's even at a different address, though. Well, apparently that's just where the person is. He has to be able to verify that's where he lives and all that stuff, and that's what he can do. So fine, I wait a little bit, and Brandon calls me back and says, you know, you're doing a photo shoot. He answered the questions that you're still going to be having a shoot. You have nothing really to worry about. Take your part out and go ahead and forward on the rest. So I go to the bank, and 2 money orders. The bank will only give me $500 now because they will not verify the funds until tomorrow morning. And I start asking, well, these are money orders. It's already been paid for in cash.
My lifelong interpretation is money orders are certified funds.
Exactly. But apparently they still have to double check. Who knows? Maybe someone can make up USPS money orders. So tomorrow I get to go and check and see if the money actually went through. And if it did, I will Western Union it on, and I will hopefully be having a photo shoot to get the rest of the money in the very, very near future.
I bet you there's going to be a bunch of cops waiting for you at the bank tomorrow when you show up.
Yeah.
That might be, but that's also why I have a ton of emails backing up, and every single time I included in my emails, this is for the photo shoot, correct? The photo shoot, the fashion, I'm asking for pictures, all that stuff. I want to see the actual attire I will be wearing beforehand.
The interesting timing of all of this is within the past week, while all this has been going on and back and forth, I check Fox News and all that every day and read my interesting general interest articles. One of the ones I found out was this great, interesting story about this guy that somehow got in touch with and did a behind-the-scenes story with the Yahoo Boys, which they call themselves the Yahoo Boys or the 419 gang. What they are is, you know, all those letters you get from Cambodia or whatever with the email scam? Nigeria, that's what it was.
I'm a Nigerian princess who would like to give you my
money. All those internet scams and everything that, like, Nigeria's whole, like, websites and everything have gotten shut down because these guys are just ruthless, and he got to actually talk to some of these people on the other end of the scam that actually do this and send it out and that. And one of the other ones that they actually, I've been not involved with, but had attempts on me done when I used to work at Warner Brothers and did the Yahoo chat and that at work. They're called the Yahoo Boys because they always go through Yahoo. One of the new ones that they've been doing the past couple of years, and one of the ones that they try to do on me, was they act like there's some attractive hot girl that's in some low end situation.
I remember you telling me.
Yeah, remember I kept trying to tell you that I was trying to get them to admit that they were a scam. So I kept going along with it all the time, and I talked to them on Yahoo, and they would never break down and refuse to scam. But they always needed $150 here, $200 here for a plane ticket, and like this whole article documented how one of the new things is these people basically are online. They become almost online prostitutes. That they develop these relationships with these lonely people through the chat and that, and get them to send them a couple bucks here, a couple bucks there for this and that, and they almost become paying for companionship. He's like, when I'm cooking dinner for myself or my family, he's like, I'll go on and say that as this girl, I'm cooking dinner or whatever you're doing, and he's like, and this whole thing was about how in depth these people go to portray this whole scam and this whole relationship for long term, and how some of them felt bad about doing it, but it was the only way that they could earn money there. How one of these other guys hasn't had a friend in years because he can't bring everybody over to his house because he has so much money under his bed and in spare rooms that the smell of money is overpowering that nobody can come to his house.
On South Park, they say that stop saves.
But like it was an unbelievable article on this whole culture and this whole underground world, and they said the whole reason he got connected is because there's this guy who's kind of like a life of crime with internets and computers and things that's kind of organized them all over the past 10, 20 years there. It supposedly gave it all up that he was interviewing. That the comparison was that if this guy was born under different circumstances or born in the United States or something like that, he would be a multi-billion-dollar entrepreneur like Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg, people of that level, but unfortunately, he grew up in a different set of circumstances and took all that knowledge and that instinct and the ability to just fix things and went to a life of crime with it, and it's just like a mastermind.
Makes sense.
But that's what it had me thinking. I'm like, maybe this is the newest version of that now, because they had said, like, the guy even admitted that, like, he goes to great lengths to develop these relationships, even to the extent that they've sent money back to these people to continue the relationship going. Like, oh, a couple of my or Johns or whatever they call them had fallen on hard times, and I actually sent them money to help them out at times to keep the relationship going.
No, see, I could see if I had given them my banking information and they're wiring me money. They don't have my banking information. They don't have any ID information. They have an email address. They have our physical address.
At this point, whatever their angle is a good one, because I can't see how they can benefit from this, but it just doesn't make any sense.
It's an awful lot of trust to put in a complete stranger to send them money and actually think they're going to send it along. And I do like to think that if I do what I said I would do, I will not get in trouble because I am being honest.
But the wild card is...
Being honest should be rewarded.
Even if they were the type of person to put in that kind of trust into somebody blindly, you think they'd pick up the phone and at least call and get a natural instinct for the conversation with the person they're sending money to.
I know.
It's just so weird.
I know other people that have bid on the same exact thing.
I think.
But have they actually received a money order?
Yes.
And what happened?
They weren't able to cash it.
Well, see, that'll be what'll happen. Tomorrow I'll find out, guess what, those didn't go through. And I'll be like, well, thank you very much. I'll be sure to report robertwilliam1900 at yahoo.com.
And now
again, robertwilliam1900.com.
And now our bank account will be overdrawn.
Fingers crossed that won't be true. But I also didn't want to take $500 when they said, oh, we can give you the $500 right up front, and then find out tomorrow that it didn't go through and owe the bank $500 after I already forwarded it on.
You didn't take the cash?
No, I'm not about to owe the fucking bank money. I'm not going to owe the bank $500 and get us in trouble.
At this point, it would be like an involuntary loan by the bank.
An involuntary loan that we'll have to pay back with a lot of interest.
Yes, that's what an involuntary loan is.
I don't want to get us in trouble. That's why I didn't take the partial amount. And I told her I'll wait till it's verified tomorrow. If it's there tomorrow morning, I will get it out and do what I'm supposed to do because I'm a good person.
My concern is sending this money off to the next person and it never gets there, or that person's not honest, and then we just screwed up an opportunity to keep this money.
There's going to be a tracking number.
That's not going to do any good once the money's off and gone. It's out of your hands. Whether it gets to the right place or the wrong place, we're not going to get another crack at that cash.
Hopefully the rent in jail is cheaper than here.
I hear it's free. And they have cable and food and coffee. No cigarettes, though.
Yeah,
God,
it'll be hosed.
So, as our interactive question of the week that I made this up on the spot, please go onto the Facebook page after you've listened to any of the Gratcast links, after you've listened to the episode, and tell us what you think Andrea should do with the money, if in fact there is going to be $1,900 there waiting for you tomorrow. We want to know.
You know, if I don't forward on the money and it's there, I will most likely get picked up while walking to the corner store and then be abducted. I don't want to get hit by a mobster because I didn't launder the money correctly.
In a perfect world, as long as the ransom isn't over $1,900, we'll still come out ahead. So, before we wrap up, while we still got you here, I think we need to discuss what happened Saturday night.
What was Saturday night?
The end of the week.
It was some funny shit is what it was on NBC.
Oh.
Saturday night, my boy, JT, that's right, Justin Timberlake, been my boy since Alpha Dog, which, by the way, we live right around the corner from the Circus liquor store that was spotlighted in Alpha Dog.
We can't drive past it, can we?
No.
Not without Kris mentioning it.
It's a fun FYI for those riding in the car. So anyway,
Frankie Ballenbacher went there.
Thoughts on JT on SNL last night?
He was awesome 2 nights ago. He was awesome. He's always awesome.
I say last night because I forgot we rewatched it all on YouTube again last night because it was so good.
He was completely
the
awesome,
opening
like
the opening skit. In I guess his last couple performances, he puts on like the little mascot outfit and does something. Come on down to Homelessville, Plasticville. Oh, dude, if you go on YouTube, watch the one with the 32 double Ds. You got to see that one. It's freaking hysterical. He's like dressed up like a big implant and doing the different songs like he does with that one. And one of he changes poker face to mediocre face. So come get your mediocre face fixed. And he's a mediocre. Oh, dude, it's hysterical. But yeah, he did Liquorville, where he's dressed as the bottle of beer, and oh my god, I can't. Every time I watch it, I think I'll laugh out loud.
Did we see Lady Gaga's nipple in that?
It was the areola was peeking out a little bit. She was
Okay.
trying to hold it on there with the
Using
wine
her
glasses.
wine glasses to cinch it up.
Yeah.
Booby tape. They should have used double-sided booby tape. That's all I'm saying. Bad wardrobe.
Quick,
Bad wardrobe
quick.
department.
Lady Gaga, hot or not?
No.
I am completely and utterly indecisive.
I
after...
think she's average. She can look pretty like any other girl. You can make yourself look pretty if you want to put the effort in, and she does when she does a show.
See,
She's an entertainer.
The one thing I
She's
don't
an
believe.
average-looking girl. Did you see the pictures before she became Lady Gaga? She was a brunette and she was average.
The one thing I don't
That's the
believe
thing.
is she's
She couldn't
average.
make it as her normal self, so she's a spectacle. That works. Power to her. That's a lot of effort.
She was in a handful of skits last night, and I'd say the exact same number of skits that she looked pretty kind of hot in.
Yeah.
The other half, she looked hideous. Just big nose, just atrocious. When she had the open top, when they were doing the what's their name, you could see her titties were all kind of saggy, and her stomach was pushing out. Like, it just wasn't looking good. Yeah.
Some of it has to do with the lighting. Appropriate lighting would make her nose not seem as large, just kind of like it did in the JT and whatever his name video.
It's
They
not
had
gay if it's a
different
three-way.
lightings. Yeah, they had different lighting. It was
That-
more flattering.
Every skit that night was hilarious. It's not
It
gay.
was the season finale, right? It was
Yeah.
supposed to be good.
Yeah, but
Damn, they better close well, or else no one's gonna remember them in a few
Saturday
months.
Night Live hasn't had a solid beginning to end episode in probably almost a decade. I'd say that's conservative.
I like that Jimmy Fallon
That's
came
been
back
The
in the Gibbs
He was
show.
good.
That was sweet that he came back.
The-
I was
the-
not expecting to see that.
the sequel to Timberlake and Adam, what the hell? is it?
Andy Samberg.
And Andy Samberg's Dick in a Box was It's Not Gay If It's a Three-Way with Lady Gaga, and that was freaking hysterical.
That's another good one. They've got a couple. That's not the sequel, I don't think. There's several of those. Like I'm on a Boat. Is that one of them?
I haven't
There's
seen
a
him on
bunch.
that.
Dick in the Box is the one that everyone talks about.
Yeah, and they did a version of it for Mother's Day or Valentine's Day not too long ago too. It was really good.
What's Their Name was the other, like, just absolute outstanding skit where they had Timberlake and Gaga sitting there, and they brought out people from their life, and they had to guess their name for money.
Oh yeah.
And the first person they bring out for JT is like a conquest from like 2 weeks ago. And she's like, remember we had a little joke about my fever cold? What's my name? What's my name?
He's like, and you're very good looking. I mean, you're beautiful. She's like, I know. That's why you slept with me. What's my name?
And the looks on his face as he's sitting there just sweating, like, just fantastic.
Mother Lover. Mother Lover was the one I'm thinking of. That's a sequel.
Sweet.
Lady
And
Gaga was a bit stunted in that. She stands like this and just stays. We're like, dude.
oh, yeah.
I know you don't know when the camera's on you or not, but really?
They
You're
said
gonna
hold it.
statue it and try and act
They said hold it until JT does his next line. I'm waiting for my cue.
pretty much. Pretty much.
And then the second person they brought out was hysterical. They brought out Chris Kirkpatrick from somebody that looked like Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC,
I think it was him.
and
I think it was. I think it's that much of a joke that no one knows if it was him or an actor.
he's just like, dude, we're in NSYNC. JT, man, come on, man.
I'm
you
not
know me.
you, I'm not this guy, I'm not
Yeah.
this guy, I'm the other one. What's my name? Come on, what's my name? Chartley. You think his name is Chartley?
And
We
then
don't need a buzzer to tell us
right
that
after he
wrong.
finds out his name, I'll give you $10 million to every charity in the world if you could tell me now what his name is. Just
Chartley.
just fantastic all the way around.
And whoever that actor was who does the game show hosting is awesome. What's his name?
It's the guy from Forgetting Sarah Marshall that like web
Jason Segel's friend.
yeah the web blogs with him and changes the background behind in his web camera.
I can't remember his name. He's
Makes me
awesome.
want to watch Forgetting Sarah Marshall though.
Yes. So this brings us to our final segment of today's episode. We're also going to keep you around for this segment.
Ooh, I'm not getting booted out.
You can't leave.
Nice.
You can't leave.
It is
I don't want to leave.
it is the Hollywood Corner, and my question for the actors in the room is:
Exciting.
what are some of the things that an actor does to prepare for a role?
Memorize his lines.
That's a good thing to do.
Come up with subtext and a background story for your character.
But like the
Lose
weeks.
some weight so you look good on
Oh,
camera.
you're looking for a discussion.
Yeah, like the weeks.
Get your hair fixed to the right color.
The weeks
get
leading
a
up to your
facial.
role to get into the
Go on a
character.
massive water diet for
Big
months.
time. Big time. Gotta look good. Those cameras add 20 pounds, not 10 people.
I don't.
You beg your director to give you some actual direction towards the script, not just let you go crazy.
Okay, seeing how we are way
You're
over
asking,
the line,
man.
can somebody give a serious answer to the question?
All of the above were serious. Every actor out there knows.
I read the script several times to try and make sure I understand the subtext of the dialogue and the story, where it's going.
Is there anything that anyone would find unorthodox that you do to get into a role if you're really serious about it, or if it's a really
They would probably
big
think it
role?
was unorthodox how lazy I am about it, but
Bill
no.
Robertson, up for an actor. Anybody want an actor?
like Hollywood Homicide? You don't like go and try and ride around with the cops for a couple weeks if you're gonna play a cop and.
You know, I would do that if I could. I would do that if I could.
I wouldn't ride around with any cops. I'd watch a movie about it.
Well, fine.
I'd study every movie they have.
If it's a
on how well play
character,
the cops.
if it's a character that has some
Scary.
kind of researchable something,
Qualities.
yeah, like I will look it up. I've been told to watch certain videos and stuff before, and I usually do that, like a performance-wise for a character. So I will research it if there's something to research.
Cool.
If it's not just a basic character, just you're a person.
Yeah.
Nothing specific about me. Nope.
Yeah.
Nothing specific
Those,
at all.
those are the nice ones.
You're like, oh,
Just show up and do
this
your
is
thing.
gonna be fun. Hopefully you have some direction for me.
All right. Will, what's your question for Hollywood Corner?
From each of the movies you did, from First Timers to, to Collectors to Perfect House, how has your definition of director changed at each significant stop along the road to here?
With First Timers, I don't really think there was ever. There was never like I think the most any scene had was 2 people in it, and usually I was one of those people in it. So there wasn't really a lot to direct, and it wasn't a director type experience. It was more just it was more freewheeling because I was on the camera, so I didn't get to check anything, and we never really had a lot of other people. So really, all it was just mic wrangling was probably the extent of directing for First Timers.
The rest of the crew took care of themselves.
Andrea knew what to do, and I knew in my head what I wanted me to do. So it was just a whole lot of mic wrangling. With Collectors, it was like my first experience with like everybody expecting me to know what to do, and I'm in charge. And it was a lot of people that I didn't know before. They weren't friends. It was the first time we brought in like real actors and stuff. So it was a very different experience. But I think the biggest thing I took out of that was that I have to look like I know what we're doing at all times, so everyone will feel comfortable and believe that they're actually here for a purpose. And from that, I kind of expanded on it and tried to put myself in a position where I actually did know what we were doing at all times, and could instill confidence that way. And it was a give and take because it was such a weird situation with being the co-directors where I really wanted to take the reins and lead. But at the same time, I didn't want to step on Randy at all and give him the opportunity to do the same. So it was a completely different experience trying to balance out that newfound desire to lead and have all the answers with balancing that out with another person.
How do you see your next one going?
I can't. I'm really looking forward to doing the Dosey one as my own. I don't know if anybody knows about that yet, but I really want to get knee deep in that one and do some things with it. And I'm still looking forward to Wiley Place and doing that one on my own, because that one I know exactly everything I want for that. So I'm excited for the next thing I do. Will be something that I wanted to do ahead of time. It didn't kind of evolve. Like it's something that I've set out to do for a while. The Perfect House kind of came about and was a perfect storm of circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really interested in getting into the next one.
Getting excited, huh?
Mhm.
Nice.
Andrea, do you have
Who's the guest?
any questions for Will or anything else for the group of
We have answers.
What was the best part about Jamie's graduation party this weekend? Both of you.
Was it all the free 30-year-old alcohol?
Yes, our visuals, Will. Use our
Jamie's
visuals.
dad is awesome.
Visuals.
Awesome.
Bought it at the yard
Awesome.
sale or something down the street, I believe. Yeah.
There was like an estate garage
for
sale
move?
thing that. Nope, they're all wines and champagnes.
That one looks-
we have
that
some
one looks green.
vintage.
This is a
stuff here now.
1978 Liebfraumlich milk.
From Canoga Park.
That doesn't sound very German all of a sudden. Zimmerman,
not so
Liebfraum
much,
milk,
but-
and it's in Canoga Park.
I'll drink it either way.
My favorite part of the party was sitting out on the back pad and overlooking the whole view and the pool and everything and that. I'd be out there with a fire going every night, just chilling, working out there. It was such a cool atmosphere.
It was nice. I hope we get to go back and do some more barbecue.
Yeah, they had a mean ass. Even inside, their two ovens were Vikings. The grill outside was Viking.
There was no expense spared putting that house
I
together.
can't wait to get my hands
Their
deep in the
pool has a
Vikings.
grotto.
Yes.
That's awesome. And there's actually apparently like a ledge seat thing underneath. It waterfalls and you're under so in a water slide.
But there's no
No
shellac
wax.
on the water
Yeah, there's
slide.
no wax on that.
You'll lose your ass on that
Scrape
thing.
So, on that note, we are going to
Hi
wrap
Morgan
up
and Susie and Jamie.
our first full episode, well, except for the first 8 minutes, visual episode of Gratcast, where I think the audio worked, I think the video worked, I think everything worked here except for the idiot that forgot to push record for the first 8 minutes of the show.
Go ahead.
Other than that, I think we've turned the corner on our Gratcast.
Yeah, that was pretty solidly put together. How long was it so far?
We're at exactly an hour if you don't count the first 8 minutes.
Well, you can't, can you?
No, you can't.
Advice anyone for what you think I should do tomorrow if the funds are available?
And
Advice.
go to theperfecthousemovie.net and check out all the confessionals from the Vegas show and our new head trip.
Love you. Bye.